In this video, I want to talk to you about real estate SEO and how you can start getting your web pages to rank on Google. Hey guys, if you haven't met me yet, my name is Emmanuel. I am the founder and kind of chief talking head guy over here at Square One Group, where really our mission is to help you identify your expertise and then help you scale your real estate business using systems. That said, we really make these videos to try to help bring in some new business for you. So if and when you do decide to start scaling your business, you keep us in mind because we would love to work with you. Now today, I want to jam on with you about search engine optimization for real estate agents. It's like the holy grail of any type of marketing that you can really do, yet so many agents get this completely wrong. There is just so much misinformation out there, and I really wanted to create this video to not only reset expectations, but align you with what is actually required if you want your website to rank on Google or any search engine for that matter. But first, I want to start off with what SEO is not, so that we can really be on the same page. SEO is not posting maybe a blog post once every few weeks or every month or few months. SEO is not taking some random news information and then copying and pasting it onto your website. Not to mention, SEO is not going on ChatGPT, asking the AI to create a blog post and then posting that on your website. By the way, quick side note, it's probably the fastest way to get penalized or probably delisted or not really get indexed by Google if you're writing blog posts using AI. Now, on the flip side, SEO, it's essentially at its simplest form, writing valuable pieces of content that will help your audience. And at the end of the day, that's really it. It's just as simple as that. So what I want to do in this video is give you the framework that I use to help our websites rank for SEO. And it's the exact same stuff that we give and teach and install into every single one of the real estate agents we work with. And the goal here is really simple. I want you to take it and I want you to run with it so that hopefully sooner, better than later, you'll be able to get your website to rank organically on Google. Now, in order for you to understand how this framework works, I need to give you two really big ideas to really kind of set the stage or set the platform. The first big idea is really understanding how Google wants you to play the game. And I think maybe the best way to think about this is by using an analogy. So many years ago, there was a movie. It's called A Beautiful Mind. And it starred Russell Crowe. And in this movie, Russell Crowe plays this super smart fellow. His name's John Nash. And the scene is John Nash is with his four friends at a bar. And while they're hanging out at the bar, five beautiful women walk in. Now, I don't want to be insulting, so I'm not trying to sound sexist, but I want to use this for context because essentially what happened is these five women, they're beautiful. But let's just say one of them was on a scale of 1 to 10, a 10, and the remaining women that walked in were 9s and 8s. Now, something very important comes into play. It's called game theory. And the way game theory works, or what it suggests, is that every man is essentially out for themselves. So in context of this situation, these five guys are all after this one woman that's a 10. And the reality is, if all of these five guys went after this woman, they would all likely be rejected because they would all sound really desperate. And, you know, that just sounds a little too thirsty, and this woman probably would not be interested. And then these five guys will probably then go to the other four friends. But the likelihood of them actually, you know, winning a date is pretty low because none of those women want to become the second option, or no woman really wants to be the second option. So if this is the case, then essentially all of the five guys would lose. On the other hand, what Nash alluded to in this scene is that if the five guys selected five women, like each kind of paired themselves up with one of the women, the likelihood of them actually being able to win a date, it increases exponentially. And this is essentially what he's explaining, that in game theory, everyone is really out for themselves with the exception of the betterment of the community. Now, why do I bring this up and why is it relevant to SEO? Well, it's because Google looks at ranking websites and keywords in the exact same way. So let's say, for example, there's a keyword that we're targeting. I'm going to use the example of Los Angeles real estate agent. And there's 100 people trying to vie for that keyword. Well, the likelihood of you winning is going to be 1 in 99. So essentially one winner, probably, and more than likely 99 losers. However, if we focus on creating content for the entire community in its totality, then we realize that it's not only one word or one key term that we need to generate traffic for. There's actually a bunch of different key terms that we can and should be really searching and trying to strategize for. So our job with regards to an SEO strategy is to identify all of those lesser competitive key terms and answer the underlying question of intent that those key terms are ranking for. Now, the cool part about this strategy here is that there's a lot less competition. So it'll be a lot easier for you to rank for them. And then over time, with enough content designed to solve your audience's problem, hey, guess what? Google's going to reward you with higher keyword rankings for really those vanity terms or those fancy terms that you're actually trying to vie for or compete for. Okay, second big idea here is that we have to understand that SEO is a long game. So I like to use the example or the analogy of golf and playing the long game. Now, the long game is typically defined as hitting a ball over 100 yards. And really, in order for you to start seeing the benefit of SEO, don't think about just making one perfect blog post. Instead, think about creating 100 perfect blog posts. Because at the end of the day, in order for you to really start playing this game, the barrier for entry is about 100 posts. By the way, I'm saying this in a generality because there are definitely some outliers to this strategy. All right, now that we're on the same page, now let's talk the framework. There's really a 5-step process that I use and that we have for every single SEO strategy that we want to implement or really are vying to implement. So step 1, this is to do keyword analysis. So what does this typically look like? What I'll do is I'll look for a key term or keyword that I want to rank for. So for example, it'd be something like, as I maybe used earlier, Los Angeles real estate agent. Then I'll use a tool like Ahrefs or SEMrush, and I'll type in that keyword, and then I'll look at all the related keywords that have less competition. Now, depending on whatever keyword ranking tool that you use, it's usually rated between 0 and 100. And what I'll want to do is I want to target all of the keywords that are usually in that 0 to 10 spot. For example, because usually there's not a lot of competition, getting these keywords to rank very easy. So I've actually done this research myself on the keyword Los Angeles real estate agent, and it turns out one of the lowest difficulty key terms to compete for is the phrase Los Angeles off-market properties. So that's it. I'm going to continue with really the rest of this framework using that term Los Angeles off-market properties. Now that I've identified the keyword that I'm going to be trying to rank for, this leads me to step 2, which is I need to find related keywords so that I can start building an outline for a blog post. And one of the easiest ways to do this is by using this thing called the alphabet method. By the way, quick attribution shout out to the guys over at Income School because I learned this from them. And let me hop over to my screen and kind of show you how it works. So first I'll start by using the keyword that I'm going to be targeting, which is Los Angeles off-market properties. There it is. Okay. Now, the way the alphabet method works is really simple. What I'll do is at the end of that key term, I'm going to type the letter A. And then I'm going to see a bunch of keywords. Because at the end of the day, this is actually what people are searching for. Then I'm going to write it down somewhere, maybe in like a spreadsheet. Then I'll go B, and then write down the same words, C, write down the same words, so on and so forth until I get to Z, and then write down those same words. And now, once I've done that, I'll have a long list of all of the different search terms that people have intent for searching for. By the way, here's a quick draft of the alphabet method in action. So I use that keyword, and then as you can see, address, affordable, buy, business, brokerage, broker, California, cost, Craigslist. You kind of get the idea here. These are all the different specific key terms that people are searching for that are related to or in lieu of off-market properties, Los Angeles. So from here, the next step is then I'm going to create an outline using a Google Doc, and I'm going to turn all of these phrases into questions, and these are essentially going to become the H2s or the subheadlines to my blog post. And then my job at this point is to just answer the question. So for example, going back to this list, if the key term is off-market properties, then I might make a subheadline that says affordable off-market properties in Los Angeles, or how to find affordable off-market properties in Los Angeles. And then maybe I might do another subheadline of how to find houses for sale that are off-market. Then I'll maybe do another headline that's like, I'm just going down the list and spitballing, finding off-market rentals in Los Angeles. So on and so forth until I have this outline of different phrases based off of the people's intent and what they're searching for, or different questions, I should say. All right, now that we've done this, let's move to step 3. And step 3 is to figure out how long we need to make this blog post. And the easiest way to do this is to do a search for that keyword on Google. Like in this case, it'd be Los Angeles off-market properties, and then open up a few other web pages that are currently ranking on the first page of Google. Now, once we've done this, the idea here, really the name of the game here, is that we want to out word count the website with the highest word count. So that said, there's this really cool extension. It's free to use. It's called Word Counter Plus. And the way it works is you'll install it into your Google Chrome, highlight all the words, you'll right click and there's a little button that says word count, and then it'll count the words. And in some cases you might see that like the average word count is maybe 500 or 600, but then you might see a blog post that's maybe like 1600 words. Now, the way this strategy works is real simple. We just have to out word count the blog post that has the highest word count. So if it's 1600 words, then I might want to make my blog post 1700 or 2000 words in order to be competitive. And it's simply because the higher the word count, the more likely that Google will look at our post as a more thorough post that answers a lot more questions than the previous post, and it will reward us with better rankings because of that. All right, now this takes us into step 4, which is that we actually need to write the post. And this is going to be easy because now that we have an outline of all of the key terms with intent and we turn them into questions, then our job in writing this post is to simply answer questions and make sure that it's the length of the keywords or the word count that we've identified. By the way, this is where your expertise comes in. You should probably write in your own anecdotal flavor on how you want to create this content. But at the end of the day, once this blog post is created, this really moves us into the last step, and that is to publish it. And this is no more than just copying and pasting whatever you've written into your blog website, like for example, WordPress. Now, there is a couple administrative kind of clerical checklist things that I want to make sure we're clear on. Number one is that you always want to make sure that our H1 is tagged as an H1, which is essentially the keyword that we're looking for. Our H2s are properly tagged, which are our subheadlines. We also want to make sure that if we're loading any images, it has alt text. Then finding 5 other blog posts that we've written and just linking our current blog posts to those blog posts. By the way, this is super technical stuff. I'm sure if you do a quick YouTube search, it'll give you the answer on how to do it. And that's it. It's as simple as that. But there's one last thing I do want to add, and that is the distinction between getting traffic to our website using SEO and generating organic traffic versus generating leads using SEO on our website. And I think this is one of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to SEO or getting our websites to rank. It's that once we get organic traffic, we're automatically going to get all these visitors and they're going to turn into leads. Well, here's the honest truth. That's not the case. That's not how you play the game. The strategy to get someone to visit your website and consume your content is actually completely different from the strategy that is required to get this visitor to actually turn into a lead. And the process of getting them to turn into the lead is actually pretty simple. Within the blog post that we created, we want to sprinkle in some essentially lead magnets or calls to action that we can get this visitor to opt into. But in any case, we talk a lot more about this inside of our free Facebook group, leaving the link in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video and you found some value in this video, check out this one here. Bye now.